truth isn't positive or negative. It's just the truth. Now, here's some more of it. This is the Sports Source.
Indeed, it is the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. If you're thinking it's time to finally put together that entertainment room, that media room that you have always wanted, a home theater for the family, theater screen, the lights that dim at the touch of a button, top quality surround sound audio, then you need to call who? Safety Systems. VFL JJ Surlis and the team out there can really help you out. I can attest to this. They do fantastic work. The best in the world. And if you are looking at building a home and you want to have a home theater, get your contractor in touch with these guys. Safety Systems. All right. There were some second guesses, I'm sure, at some point, but we're not going to talk about them. We're going to be all positive in this segment. I want to rank the positive signs. Next segment, we'll do the negative signs because it's not all, ice cream and lollipops. But we'll look at the trends, the positive and the negative, heading into November. Rank for me which are the best and worst, and we'll start with number 3 and work our way to the top. Let me go ahead and put these up here. Here are the 3 trends I want you to rank. Explosive plays. Tennessee had 23 plays of 20 or more yards versus the first 6 FBS foes they played. They had 7 yesterday. Pass rush. UT has had 7 sacks against Mississippi State, 2 against Alabama, 3 against South Carolina. 12 sacks from a team that had no pass rush in September, and now you got 12 in the last 3 games. Second half play. We showed this a few weeks ago. The first 4 FBS foes they went up against beat the heck out of them in the second half, 71-19. These last 3 games, it's 37-37. The depth issue doesn't seem to be biting you at this point. Gentlemen, what's the third most important on there? What do you rank as the least important? The pass rush, the explosive plays, or the second half play?
I'm going to say second half play. I feel like it might be a little bit skewed from the 24-0 yesterday. And it's important, and they have been better in the second half. Can you duplicate that for the rest of the season? We will see. I would rank that number 3.
Okay.
I'm with David on that one. I think the 24-0. Also, the play against Alabama occurred in the second half.
Of course, that's one play that was like a 14-point swing.
It was a crazy play. That's right. But I think that's probably it. I would go with the second half being third on that list.
Okay, then it doesn't matter what you say.
Exactly, and it doesn't matter. But I'm a little worried after some of the injuries we saw yesterday. Do you keep that up? But yeah, I would put that with number 3 as well.
Okay, then this is the decider. What is your most important, explosive plays or pass rush? What's the better sign?
The most important to me is pass rush, and I think it's not even close. Because if you've got a good pass rush, if you can rush your down lineman and get pressure, that really allows you to do more blitzing and things. If you're having to blitz, other teams can pick it up. But if you're getting pressure with 4, I think that's huge. I think that is the most positive sign going forward.
Agrees, disagrees?
I agree with Bob, except I do think the explosive plays are close. Because when you mentioned 7 of them for at least 20, there were 2 other 19-yard plays. I mean, that's a lot in one game. And we were talking about earlier how I think we agreed that the concern for Tennessee was quarterback play going in that game, right? And you had that many big plays from your quarterbacks?
Against a pretty good defensive coordinator and a defense that hasn't been bad, been terrible this year.
And weren't every one of them passes? I don't think there was a run in that group.
The closest you had on a long run was the
15?
The draw.
Yeah. So I think that's huge, but I think it's a pass rush. When you can disrupt the opposing quarterback, and I think they did to Helinski, I think they rendered him pretty ineffective.
I would go explosive plays. I think you have to look at who you're playing. Yesterday at Mississippi State game, those are not great offensive lines that they beat up on. But the defensive line that we saw in both of those games, I think, especially yesterday, South Carolina, a great defensive line. The quarterbacks were unbothered largely for most of that game. You can't have those explosive plays if they don't have time. Most of those explosive plays were slow developing plays. There were a couple that were slants that the Jennings shook some guys off and ran. But those plays, You could not call those last year. You could not call them. You call them, you're more likely to have a touchdown going the other way. This is a very different team. In Tennessee, we've talked a lot about the offensive line this year. Personnel is a big part of that. Kennedy healthy, Smith healthy. You add Wright, you add Morris. They got banged up a little bit yesterday, and we didn't see that much drop off. So to me, those explosive plays, people want to get excited about it, but I think they point to the big improvement on the offensive line, even when you can't run the ball super well. But they have that protection that gives them the ability to call plays that you might have well just thrown in the trash last year because you couldn't block them.
Okay. Well, with some debate then, the ranking on the team. The ranking was number 3, the second half points, number 2, the explosive plays, and number 1 was the pass rush in terms of the positive trends. But the thing is, all 3 of those, especially the top 2, positive. And here's the thing. I shouldn't call the explosive plays trend. It's one game. But still, positive signs is how I have it written, but I slip and say trends. Positive sign, pass rush, I would agree on that one. I would have put that one number 1.
To David's point about the offensive line allowing these plays to happen, on your show this morning, somebody called in and said, give the offensive line coach a better contract. 3 weeks ago, it was somebody give him a bus ticket out of town. That's how quickly
it
Will
changes.
Friend was not their friend.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, very good. When we come back, we've got some basketball to talk a little later in the show. But when we come back, there are some negative signs. Let's look at those. We'll rank those in terms of which ones are the bigger concerns heading into November. That's next. Come on back on the Sports Source.